Hey guys and gals, I just wanted to jump on here real quick and do a short video on what you can do to close more contracts by really preparing for your walkthroughs, right? I know when folks are starting out and getting their first few leads, they're all excited, and then they get really nervous when it comes time to actually going and meeting with the business owner or the manager or facilities director and having to actually sell their service, especially when they're brand new and don't really know what they're talking about, but still need to appear confident. So let's go through a few points of the walkthrough that I think will help. And let's try to make this brief just so you can take away a few main points. So before you even get to the customer site, do yourself a favor, get online, go to their website, and just do 10 minutes of quick research on that potential lead. So first, we want to know about how many square feet is their building. You can typically find this information online on Google. So remember, we're usually quoting places based on man hours. Most cleaners can cover about 2,000 square feet per hour. So let's say this building we find online is 5,000 square feet. We know we're probably going to estimate the clean will take 2.5 hours. Now, there's some other factors involved. How dense is it? What kind of facility is it? But on average, that's a good estimate. What kind of industry? So is this a medical building that's going to need to be pristine? Is this more of a blue collar plant where they just need the basics done? Is this a corporate office that's typically a little bit easier? That's my favorite niche. Just do a little bit of research. You also want to figure out, how does a dirty space negatively impact their business, right? So we clean several medical offices. Obviously, if their floors look bad, their exam rooms are dirty, and their reception looks very unkept, that's going to directly affect their business. So we can use that as selling points once we actually get to meet with our point of contact. Make sure you arrive 15 to 20 minutes early. Don't be that guy or girl that shows up 10 minutes late. You've already ruined it. It's just disrespectful. You're meeting with a business owner that's very busy. Respect their time. Make sure you're there early. I actually like to just go ahead and go in 20 minutes early and just get rolling, just to show that I'm trying to be respectful of their time. Only thing you need to bring is a notebook and pen. You can bring a flyer, brochure, or something that says a little bit about your business. It's not necessary or required, but you just need to be able to take a little bit of notes. It shows that you're detail oriented. You care about the meeting with that contact. Dress code, business casual. So something like, for guys, a polo, some slacks, belt, shoes. For ladies, business casual as well. We don't need to wear suits, and we don't need to be wearing t-shirts and shorts, right? Business casual is the appropriate dress. We're going to ask that point of contact to give us 10 or 15 minutes of their time and take us on a quick tour of their facility. They've done this before, guys. This isn't out of the norm. They are prepared to take you through the facility and ask them to touch on some of the pain points they're having, whether it's the floors in the reception or the break room, or some of the offices collecting, cobwebs and dust. They'll have issues. That's why you're there. Just make sure that they are pointing them out, because what you're going to do is you're going to take their pain points and you're going to follow that up with your selling points, right? So As you're touring the facility, you can point out areas of concern that you've noticed. Common areas are window sills are usually not dusted, blinds aren't dusted. If you pull the door shut, especially like offices and exam rooms, a lot of times there's cobwebs or dead bugs or just dirt that's not being vacuumed behind doors. Usually there's stuff behind trashes. If you run your finger along horizontal surfaces, there'll be a bunch of dust built up in places that their current service is doing a bad job. Now remember, your walkthroughs are normally with customers that are not happy with their current service, so it's not hard to point out things that aren't going well. They're already not happy. You just want to push on that pain point more and more and address it with your selling points. So let's get into that. So I like to emphasize my selling points as solutions to whatever problems they're having, and I've devised all of my selling points to basically be a solution to anything they're going to say to me. So if they say something like, well, the last cleaning service we had, they tried to lock us into a year-long contract. They did a good job for a month, and then it's just completely fallen off a cliff. I let them know that we don't do any long-term contracts, and this puts the onus on us to do exactly what we're saying we're going to do to make sure that our service stays consistent, and let them know that worst case scenario, if you go with us, you're only out a month, right? We have a 30-day cancellation policy, but I know that we're going to have systems in place to keep them happy, and so we're going to keep that contract for a long time, but it is a good selling point. Big thing is communication. So most places have an issue with their service, and they can't even reach anybody to tell them about it, or if they can reach the owner of that business, they usually are very defensive and saying, no, my guys do a great job, you guys are just too picky, something like that. So I let them know. I give every client my personal cell number. Depends on whether or not you want to do that. I like to because I want to be in control and know that all my accounts are happy. I let them know I'll take care of you anytime, day or night. If there's an issue, I'll be there that night to address it. I let them know that our service will be consistent. I have managers assigned to every account we service. They complete weekly quality control checks to make sure that we're meeting their standards consistently. And we hire the best, right? We make sure all our staff have at least 3 years of commercial cleaning experience. They all complete a background check, and this should say they receive video and on-the-job training for every new account that they take on. So with the folks that I hire, I give them a actual checklist to follow, video training of how to clean certain spaces, and then we also will go and complete quality control checks with my manager and give them feedback so that they can address anything that they're missing. Okay, I like to talk pricing when I'm with the customer. So once I've gone through the scope of work, I've told them some of my selling points, I've figured out what their pain points are, I like to just talk pricing. The issue is that if you send them a quote with a price or a number they don't like, you have no opportunity to address objections. If they don't like the price, they just go with another customer and you never hear from them and you can't get in contact with them before it's too late at least. So I like to address pricing so that I can hear their objections and actually have a conversation with them in person. Remember, communication is much better in person than through email or phone. And you need to be able to understand why the lowest price is not always in their best interest. Most places might think, cleaning is cleaning, like it's simple, and it is, but there is a big difference between a good service and a bad service. So I like to use the one-man operations versus large franchises conversation. So I let them know, hey, there's really two extremes that my business competes against. We have these one-man operations where, it's maybe one guy who, got an LLC, but he's not insured, he's not licensed, he's not bonded, and he has a few accounts he's cleaning, but in order for him to make more money, he has to spend less and less time at the contracts he's cleaning so that he can take on more work, which means the quality of the service goes down and down and down the more accounts he takes on. It's not a real business. They don't really have a payroll. They don't have employees. They're just doing the work and hoping to get more work, which means they have to decrease the quality of their work. Then the other end of that extreme is these large franchises that have terrible profit margins. So they're having to hire folks at $8, $9 an hour, which means those folks are always quitting. They don't care about their work they're doing. They got to staff your building every other week with new people who don't know what's going on or, where you keep the supply closet or the things you actually care about. Whereas we are a local small business that provides, training for our staff. We're insured, licensed, and bonded. I have managers in place, quality control systems in place. So we're really in between those two extremes, and we're set up in a position where we can deliver great customer service and a consistent service as well. So that's the talk I like to have. If the customer is not okay with the price, you can always manipulate the frequency, but don't change the hourly rate. So if you quoted them, or you're going to quote them at twice a week, and you let them know what your price is and they're not happy, see if they'd be comfortable with once a week. If you think that it's not a high traffic place with a ton of customers and they can get away with once a week, they might like that price while it still preserves your margins. And as always, harp on value, not on price. So let them know what they're getting for that price. Most places, businesses that have good profit margins, the number isn't a huge issue unless it's just completely outlandish. It's more of the fact that they just want to know that when they sign with you, they don't have to think about this anymore. They have more important stuff to do with their business than worry about cleaning, right? They just want to be able to hand it off. You send your invoice every month and the job gets done well and consistent. And if they have any issues, they can reach you. So harp on value, not price. And lastly, I like to throw this out there. My niche are white collar offices. They're just a great profit margin account that's very easy work. So if I go do a walkthrough of my perfect niche, a nice 10,000 square foot office that they want 2 or 3 times a week, and I know there's going to be a lot of money in it, I'll just go ahead and throw out a free trial clean. I'll say, hey, you don't have to get married to us out of the gate. Would you mind just letting us prove our worth, prove our value up front, and we'll provide a free clean for you guys. All we need is, door code, alarm code information, and I'll check in with you the next business day, make sure everything looks good, and all that we ask is that you consider working with us long term. If a lot of places say yes, because you're basically saying we're going to take this on for free, and what you're getting out of it is you get to learn the building. Whoever you're going to have clean that building gets to learn it. You've already earned their trust because you have their door code and alarm code information. And when you lock the door, it's going to look great when they show up the next day, and they're very, very likely to go with your business. So quick video on what you can do to perfect your walkthrough process. I hope this helps. And guys, if you need help, head on over to Clean Consults. We help entrepreneurs every day start their own commercial cleaning business. I'd love to help you guys. And go get your business started, and best of luck to you. Take care.